Hello, and welcome to this pre-recorded feedback event for Unit 8, the Performing Arts Industry. This presentation will refer to version 4 of the test, as this is the only version that has been completed, and so has a lead examiner's report available. Kim Jackson is the lead examiner for this unit. To help you get the most out of this feedback, you may want to have the following documents handy, as we will refer to them during the session. Here are the aims and objectives of today's session. Receive feedback on performance of learners for version 4 of the online test, completed in March 2015. Consider questions where learners underperformed and possible reasons why. Discuss the lead examiner's report for version 4 of the online test. Consider delivery strategies and share good practice. Address common issues. Find out about further support available. Please have the Unit 8 specification open. The external assessment for this unit gives learners the opportunity to demonstrate the knowledge and understanding of the industry that they have acquired. The two learning aims are A. Understand different types of organizations in the performing arts industry. B. Understand job roles in the performing arts industry. This externally assessed unit has the same grades as internally assessed units. Level 2, Pass Merit Distinction. Level 1, Unclassified. The type of assessment for this unit is an online test that requires learners to respond to a range of questions based on the unit content. These questions are presented in a range of types, including multi-choice, closed questions, and open questions that give opportunities for further explanations. There are a total of 50 marks available, and the test lasts for an hour. Questions 9 to 12 and 13 to 16 are contextualized by scenarios that replicate a professional situation and a set of issues arising from it. The last question on the paper, question 16, is an extended answer, where learners will need to give an evaluative response to the options given. Learners should be encouraged to read the questions carefully and pay particular attention to the detail of the scenarios and the time-related context of some questions, i.e., do they relate to the time before, during, or after a production? It is crucial that learners know the unit specification content and that this document becomes the clear focus for teaching and learning. Types of organizations and job roles in the specification are based on the most typical examples and practice within the performing arts industry. This should be taken into account when delivering the unit content. The examples of questions that follow show that where there is close reference to the specification throughout the teaching and learning process, some common errors can be avoided. Learners will also need to understand the importance of reading the question and scenarios carefully. These questions may be framed differently in the papers themselves. Of the 7 responsibilities listed on the slide, you should choose 4 that are the correct responsibilities for a costume designer. The 4 correct responsibilities are listed. learners often conflated design responsibilities with making and operational responsibilities. And, as indicated above, the specification separates these responsibilities out. In many small-scale companies, it may well be one person doing all the making, fitting, and maintenance of costumes. This person may also have stage management responsibilities. But the specification works on generic, ideal, or contractual definitions of roles. Question 10 of the paper provides an example of a question that needed to be read carefully to be able to access full marks. The question read, "The charity funding Get Up and Groove has its logo and website details on the publicity material. Explain one reason why this is important to the two-step dance company." Examples of learners that did less well discussed the marketing and publicity aspects of websites and logos, access to the website for buying tickets. Trainee dancers would know where to go for audition and employment opportunities. These responses did not fully understand the context of the question, which was about the importance to the dance company specifically within the wider context of the scenario and funding issues. Examples of correct answers were: the company's reputation will be enhanced through the association with a well-known charity. The company may increase revenue because the public may wish to support the charity. These correctly identified the importance to the company rather than to the charity. These responses show that learners have understood the specifics of the scenario and read the question closely. It should be noted that these questions ask for linked responses that include an initial identification of an action, problem, or impact of a situation for 1 mark, and an explanation or expansion for the 2nd mark. For 2 marks to be awarded, both the initial action, problem, or issue and the explanation or expansion is required. Centers should give learners practice at answering questions based on professional scenarios. There should be a range provided across the course. These should place professionals in various creative and technical roles in different venues, making decisions and responding to issues and problems as they would arise in their workplaces. On this slide, you will see Scenario B from the version 4 online test. On the following slides, the scenario is unpacked and highlighted to illustrate how important it is for learners to closely read the details in order to answer the questions accurately. This is a touring production, and so questions will be contextualized by this. Also significant will be the age range and schools-based nature of the production. Some answers discussed box office receipts and audiences waiting in the bar for the show to begin, clearly not relevant to the scenario details. The details of the set will be important to questions on communication between technical crew. There will therefore be implications for the production if there are delays in putting it up or getting it to the venues. Part of the set involves projection. This is important to getting the key messages of the show across to the children, and answers that emphasized this had clearly read the scenario. These responses gave solutions to the issue of the broken projector that recognized the need to put the words on sheets of paper or card so that they could be seen. Answers that didn't achieve so well made general comments on actors improvising, or just going ahead without the projector and saying the words, or even dancing them. Additionally, the issue of the broken projector was not about getting a new projector. A further question clearly stated that this wasn't possible. Again, close reading of the scenario would lead learners to the problem of seeing the words somehow. By the way, when another company is involved, this is usually a clue that something will go wrong. We will now look at question 16. Question 16 asks learners to write an extended answer in response to a situation that arises from scenario B, illustrated previously. This slide shows the conversation between the stage manager and the director of the school's touring company, Have a Word. Learners were asked to discuss the advantages and disadvantages of the two options. Please read this example of a learner's response. There is some detail in this response, but essentially there is only one key point discussed: the effect on the children. This point is generally superficial and only partially applied to the situation in the question. References to what the story and performance is about, however, indicate that the writer has some understanding of the relationship between the set and the outcomes of the show. This places the response at the top of Mark Band 1 in the mark scheme. It was awarded 3 marks out of a possible 8. This is an example of a better response. There are a range of points described, and a few key points are explained in depth. Most sides of the case are considered, and the answer is well balanced, giving weight to all viewpoints. There are some limits on the implications of some of the impacts mentioned. The majority of points made are relevant, and there is a clear link to the situation in the question, although there is some repetition, and the last paragraph is irrelevant. It was awarded 7 marks out of a possible 8. In summary, these are the common issues with Unit 8 generally. Strategies for teaching and learning are suggested to address these. Although the real world has many different working practices, The specification draws on benchmark contracts, definitions, and models, and so this should be closely followed. Learners need to know how roles and responsibilities change in relation to the timescale and stages of the production or task, whether it is before, during, or after. Learners should be given practice answering questions based on a wide range of different scenarios. These can be drawn from professional anecdotes and experience, but must also refer to the details in the specification. Scenarios can be complicated. This gives learners practice at seeing all the details. They could also make their own up. This is the key web page to be aware of for support and guidance with BTEC results. Any further questions to be directed to the Subject Advisor for Performing Arts, Paul Webster. We hope you have found this session useful. Please take time to complete our short online survey regarding this recording, as we very much value your feedback. Thank you for your time.